Welcome to the Turn Academy, week ending 2/21/2021. Let's watch this swing in slow motion. Pretty good setup here. She has good rhythm. Takes the club a little too far to the inside, but does manage to get back on plane pretty good. Little head movement, back on plane. She has a tendency to miss off to the right like you saw there. Let's just talk about that a little bit, what causes that. I think it's the hands being high and the right hand too far under the club. If I clear everything out of the way, and we expand this, you can see that the right hand is not behind the club, but rather out under it, which leaves the face of the club pretty wide open. And also because of the position change for hand, he's going to come in and catch that ball, see, out on the toe. That's why it's going off to the right. So what we want her to do is go back to the setup position. Bring this picture back down. Now let's be very clear that this line right here is where she has to be back at impact. So she's pulling up and out of the shot right there. You know you're up and out of the shot when your shoulders are no longer parallel to the swing plane. The shoulders should have been on this line, but they're way up and out of that. You can see pretty dramatically there. So there she comes back now. Now she's way up and pulled away from the golf ball. Now she's going to try to go back down and find it, but it's hard to get right back to that same position, and she's not. See that? She's up and out of the shot quite a bit, and she's going to catch the ball on the toe with the right hand underneath. This golfer's working on the impact base. We also call it the moment of truth. That point in the golf swing where you make contact with the golf ball. This is a very large golf ball, but the idea is the same. You see a great setup here. It's a single plane golfer. You can see the golf shaft runs up under the lead arm, up towards the lead armpit. You can see the left arm is higher than the right arm. Then on the takeaway, you'll see that he folds the right arm down. But I'd like to see, one change I would like to see at setup here is have the right elbow a little more towards the ground. It's a little pointing out towards the camera here. But you can see what he does here is he creates that window right here. I like seeing that window. What I mean by that, that's this area right here. You can see right through that window. He's going to come up to the top corner of that window. He's going to bring it right back down again. See the window's there again. Very repeatable. Bang into the impact position. He can do that repeatedly. He'll be a little more consistent with that if he can learn to get that right elbow down a little bit more. I like what he's working on there. Owning the motion. That's a very frustrating thing to do. Most people, what they do is they try to own hitting the ball. It's the motion that counts. What I like this golfer to do is work on getting a straighter spine. You can see how it's curved. Puts him in a position that's rounded so the spine can no longer be an easy hub to swing around. If you look at the lady here on the right, you can see a much straighter spine. Maybe we'll get him to stand up a little taller. As we get a little older, that's harder and harder to do. But we're going to try to get as straight a spine as possible so we can stay on that angle. The other thing I'd like him to do, because he's a single plane swinger, is get his hands just a little bit higher. What we'd like to see is the golf shaft go up just under the lead arm to be put a little bit more on that angle right there. Now you'll see that's where he gets on the downswing. So we're going to take the club back. Now his hands are about where they should have been at setup. And he comes back down. See, now he is where he should have been at setup, but he's cutting across the ball because he's changed positions. So he gets that little baby fade off to the right. He's actually pretty happy playing that fade, and it works pretty good for him. But I just think when he gets his hands up, watch the slow motion, he'll have a better, repeatable swing. Nice rhythm and tempo, very smooth, good impact. Look at the finish, right on plane. Very good. The golf swing on the way back is a top-down motion. On the way forward, it's supposed to be a bottom-up motion. What we'll see with this golfer is that the whole swing is from the waist up. Let's play it in slow motion. Nice shoulder turn. Hands coming up. back down again, but no drive on the bottom. And what I mean by that is we would like to see the energy start down here, pushing that way, so that the hip shifts out, and then you've got this real power instead of, you can see, it's all in the upper body. Hit it really nicely, very straight, very happy with that. But we're going to help her get a little bit more action. You can see, if I clear everything out of the way, if she has the capability of turning, it's just a matter of timing. We start from the bottom up on our forward swing. This golfer's been working really hard to develop a ground-up forward swing where he shifts his right side onto the power line, which is that white line I drew. Let's watch this in slow motion, and I think you'll see a pretty successful swing here. Notice the head isn't moving much. Look at this, bam, right onto it. Now if you look at the bottom, as it comes through right about there, see how he holds the release of the club so long? I would like to see him get a little more extension of the hands, but this is such an improvement over what it was before, and that finish is really, really nice. Stand tall when you're finished, and your back is going to thank you for that. This golfer has an open posture. I didn't say stance because his feet aren't open. His feet are pretty parallel with the T marker there, and that's where he's trying to hit the ball kind of straight away, down towards that fountain you can see off in the distance. But his shoulders are aligned pretty far left. You'll notice that as I start to swing back, we don't get to see his lead arm until the club is maybe 12, 13 inches back. See? That's where he should be a setup. Now you can see that his shoulders are parallel to his feet and knees. That's where he needs to be, not there and closed. So as he goes back, he's going to hit a pretty good position right about there. Notice that the shaft of the club is parallel to the toes, pretty much down the target line, pretty close anyway. And then he's starting to create that little window we talk about. You can see from behind him. But he hasn't turned his shoulders nearly as much as he should have. But it's better than it was. He's been working really hard on getting a transfer, getting a good position there. Little too upright with the club shaft there. I'd like to see the club shaft more on a line about like in there. There, he's going to drop the club in behind him. You know how hard that is? Well, if I can get all my amateur golfers to drop that club in behind like that and come on through, make that beautiful impact. Goodness gracious. That is so nice. For him, I think that's the key, to drop right there. And that's getting the lead hip out of the way, rotating through, making impact, and exiting right where we wanted the club on the backswing. Very nice. This golfer, DB, may have her hands a little high. We'd like to see about 144-degree angle between the club shaft and the forearm. She's at 148. But what she's been working on is freeing up her swing so she generates some speed and some energy. She's done really well with that. Because her hands are up a little high, the club's going to go back a little low. I know that sounds backwards, but you know golf. So she's getting the club a little too far behind her here, but she gets in a pretty good position there on playing. The problem is now she's lifted up and out of the swing so much. See, the head is much higher than it was, so it's going to be hard to get right back down to the bottom of the swing arc. So remember the four things we talked about. The face, the direction the face is pointing at impact, the pace, the speed at which the club is moving, the path the club is moving on, and last word's the bottom of the stroke. And you see what's going to happen is her stroke bottom is going to be up a little high because her hands now are even higher than they were set up, and she's not going to get good contact pretty high on the off the ground. You can see I'm going to undo this. I'm going to clear up. You can see how high that club is. It's not on the way up. It's on the way down. It actually goes lower through the ball. That doesn't give you the height you need, and it produces too much spin. So you lose a lot of distance and roll. So what we're going to try to do is get her to work on getting that hands a little lower at setup, and then not lift up and out of the swing. You can see that her spine is almost straight up and down. Good position there. Almost that window we talk about a lot. I like the position of the right elbow tucked into the side like that, coming in, a lot of power there, right on through. Just pulled in a little bit. Later on during the session, she was nailing the ball. Right? And it's just a matter of getting used to having your 12 torso stay kind of calm and centered around your spine. This golfer was a baseball player, knows how to swing a baseball bat, knows how to throw a baseball, knows how to move. Unfortunately, with the golf club in his hand, he gets stuck, and he gets stuck on his back foot a little bit. So what you're going to see here, as I advance the swing in slow-mo, takeaway is not too bad, pretty good position. But as he starts down, I'm going to stop right there. His hands have come way up, and you can see there has been no weight motion to the front side. See how the front side, you can even see he's straightening his knees, pushing himself away from the target, lifting up. He's way away from the golf ball compared to where he was at setup. It's hard to see that, but let's draw the line in now. This is where he is. Let's go back at setup. You see the difference? It's hard to connect to the ball when you're moving that far away from it. We're going to work on getting his posture to stay put and to learn how to turn the right knee to the left knee. The right knee is going to the golf ball instead of to the left knee. And he gets stuck, and he never gets really off that back foot. You can see it's still there. That's where his weight is. We're going to work on that a lot. Right foot, left foot. And again, you see another golfer moving into the one-plane setup. He's worked really hard to get his back straighter than it used to be, and you can see he's pretty straight right now, especially because he's not a 12-year-old anymore. He's got a good setup. His main issue is to learn how to swing easy and hit the ball with speed rather than swing hard and hit the ball with difficulty. Hard and difficult mean the same thing. So let's watch this. I'm going to move this forward. Beautiful takeaway. Look at that. Everything's moving together. See how the shoulders, hands, nothing's moving independent. Folds that right arm down nice and neatly. Doesn't try to overswing. Just gets himself to a position that's pretty comfortable. Goes right back down to it. Makes that good contact. And off the ball goes. Now, he did catch it a little bit out on the toe, which is, we see that as relatively common with an amateur golfer, where instead of being able to hit it dead solid, they're pulling it out on the toe. So let's see if we can go back to the setup position and see if we can figure out why that is. He's setting up in a pretty good spot, isn't he? So let's go back down here. My guess is we're going to see a little bit of lifting going on either here or here. Now right now, his spine and his club are at about 90 degrees, like it should be. So watch the takeaway, nice one-piece takeaway. The ear's still on the white line. Oh, there he goes. He just pulled far enough away that he's going to have to hit the ball on the toe, or he's going to have to figure out how to get back down to it. He can't quite get back down to it. Notice how the back is pulling up and out of the shot. And that's why he's missing. So one of the things we want to do is maintain any angle we created set up. We want to maintain that angle throughout the entire swing. See you next week.